I was wondering when we'd find out more about this, knowing Ubisoft, and now finally we know what to expect from Assassin's Creed Valhalla's post-launch content. So I thought we'd break it down and talk about it a little bit, what I think, what I like, what I may not like so much. You know how this usually goes. So obviously, first things first, you've got the Season Pass, which will have 2 major expansions alongside 1 bonus quest, and then of course there'll be extra post-launch content that is released for free. Firstly, let's take a look at the Season Pass content, which is going to be the juicy stuff really, isn't it? The first expansion is the Wrath of the Druids. Releasing in spring of 2021, Wrath of the Druids is set in Ireland. We will unravel the mysteries of an ancient druid cult, discovering their members, hunting them down, and fighting them. I find it interesting how it didn't use that opportunity to use the word assassinate. You'll get to conquer forts and influence trading systems in towns such as Dublin, I believe the guy says. We also know that the DLC is designed for players more interested in the Celtic and the Druids and the darker themes that carry along with that mysterious feeling. And I love a good mystery, and looking at the content shown in the trailer, it looks primed with atmosphere too. A nice good dark mystery in which we're hunting down a cult of druids does sound like something that Assassin's Creed could thrive on, but they didn't mention the assassins or hidden ones once while talking about it. Could this be a conflict of interest between the DLC itself and the marketing for it, or is it the full Viking way? Either way, the lack of mention of the word assassin in an Assassin's Creed trailer is alarming. But you never know with this. I reckon this could be pretty up Assassin's Creed's alley. Here's how I think they should do the DLC for this game, and this is probably how they've done it. One DLC is dedicated to Vikings and raids and all that stuff, and the other is dedicated to the more Assassin's Creed style. I reckon of the two, the Wrath of the Druids may be the more Assassin's Creed expansion, but they haven't said it to be so we don't know. On top of that, we'll be able to explore Ireland as a new area. I was kinda hoping for a West Country DLC, but I'll take Ireland. If this world space proves to be unique and defines itself from the base game, then it'll be fine. DLC Expansion 2 is the Siege of Paris, arriving in summer of 2021, in which we'll be able to explore a war-torn Francia, or France as we know it today. We'll encounter historical figures and new apparently replayable activities to participate in, raiding the unique units of Charles the Fat, who was Emperor of the Carolingian Empire. We'll be able to infiltrate and create alliances, conquering Paris from within. So I guess that will be the priority of the expansion, to conquer Paris. So that'll be 2 Assassin's Creed locations we can revisit in different historical time periods in this game. First you've got London, and now you've got Paris. And again, it will come with the world space of, I'd imagine, a decent chunk of France. Again, I can't imagine it being too big, but big new world spaces are exciting for this game, considering the thing that I liked the most about it when I played it for myself is how the game encourages you to explore the world and look for encounters and figure them out on your own without quest markers hindering your experience, or checklists to tell you exactly what you have or haven't done. Based on the fact that it's showcased with a lot of concept art as opposed to little bits of gameplay like the other DLC was, I'd imagine this expansion is still in early-ish development. Not too early, but too early for us to actually see anything from it. Again, this trailer doesn't mention the word assassin at any point while talking about this DLC either, but I'd imagine this one is more oriented towards the Vikings and raids and stuff. Obviously, it's going to have a heavy focus on the Vikings, and considering we're facing units of Charles the Fat, and him being in power from 881 to 887, I'd imagine this is where, or more accurately when, this slots into the timeline. As for the bonus quest that comes with the Season Pass, that is called The Legend of Beowulf. From my angle, this is hard to explain. I guess we'll learn some bits about it as we go. I'm sure if you're familiar with the titling of the quest, you may know more about its general gist than I do, but it appears to be based around a mysterious series of attacks that leads Eivor into an investigation. I'd like a good mystery, and I'd imagine this gets explained well within Assassin's Creed lore, otherwise I shall be very confused. On to the free seasonal content, which shall be available to all players. I suppose we'll be getting new game modes, raids, settlement areas and events, along with customization options, and if that's under free content then fair enough, it won't feel like they're trying to suck money out of gear packs or anything, but I do worry that they'll show up to some extent somewhere. What we know of is the Yule Festival that will be taking place in Eivor's settlement, which will arrive in late 2020, and then you have the river raids, which make use of the Jomsviking as an online feature within the raid mechanics or something along those lines. I can't say I I care much for online features in what feels like it's trying to be a single-player experience, I do believe it's going to inject the raid feature into a different style of game mode that's higher risk in a different context, whatever that means. You'll be able to hire Vikings from your friends, and I guess do bits. Furthermore, the Discovery Tour will be returning to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I feel like the Discovery Tour in Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey was fine. It's a good way to teach history alongside the game, but I honestly think I preferred it back when Assassin's Creed would teach you stuff as you came across landmarks and historical figures and stuff like that. And while this is a superior tool for learning pure history, I don't think it should be there to make up for not learning about that history while playing the actual game. But Discovery Tour is back, and that's cool. I love learning about history in any way, so I'm excited to learn more about Vikings, but I hope the in-game codex covers historical landmarks and historical figures so we can learn about them as we go. I think there's going to be more free seasonal extra content that they haven't decided to announce just yet. I guess we'll find out about that stuff after the game launches on the 10th of November. Altogether, I'm quite a fan of this post-launch roadmap that's been released, with only one real concern holding me back in any respect whatsoever, that being the reluctance to mention the word assassin in the marketing of it. The only time the word assassin is actually used in this trailer is to say the title of the game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If you're not going to use the word assassin or assassinate, at least throw in the hidden one somewhere. I mean, come on. Like I said, the Wrath of the Druids expansion looks like it could be prime for Assassin's Creed elements, and I'm sure you could fit them into the Siege of Paris expansion as well, though to be fair, I reckon you could grant them one DLC which is more oriented towards the Viking fantasy. I don't know if it's just the marketing trying to trivialize the Assassin's Creed in Assassin's Creed, or if the DLCs won't have much to do with the assassins or hidden ones. When it comes to the narrative, Darby McDevitt, the lead writer and narrative director for the base game, has stated that he only consulted for the DLC, though he assures us that the team writing them also worked on the main game. Whether or not the DLCs will miss him, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But at least there's consistency in the writing team, which should be able to avoid any plot holes or lore inconsistencies or inconsistencies with the main narrative, or risk of missing the entire point of the game, as was the problem with Odyssey's expansions. If a mess like that can be avoided, then that's at least something, right? I guess we'll have to wait and see. If the main game holds up, then I think it's suffice to say that the DLCs are in good hands. By the looks of it as well, the DLCs won't be broken down into 3-part arcs like they were with Odyssey. I think the 6-week waits between episodes of the DLC with Odyssey was a bit immersion breaking for one. I won't pretend I felt particularly immersed to begin with in that game, but don't get me started, Jesus. It was unnecessary, is what I'm trying to say. 2 expansions equals 2 block stories is a much better approach, I think, so it already puts these expansions at an advantage that Odyssey didn't have. And I think that brings us to the end of all there really is to talk about with regards to the post-launch roadmap for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I don't feel like the trailer that dropped really did a lot of it too much justice, but there's plenty of time to market it in depth to come anyhow, and hopefully we'll get a better idea of what this content will actually entail in trailers and stuff dedicated to the specific pieces of content before the expansions and the extra content launches. That'll surely give us a better picture than a 4-minute trailer going over the entire lot was ever going to. So what do you think about this post-launch content roadmap from what we've seen so far, which isn't very much? Please bear that in mind. Let me know your full thoughts down in the comments section. Just please be respectful of one another. In the end of the day, it's just a video game, and there is enough room for a difference of opinion with one another, no matter how vastly different they may be. And so, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff. And with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. But until next time, take care and goodbye.